Hey friends, welcome back to my studio. I'm going to paint a macaw. The reference photo I think is on unsplash.com. I'll link it in this video's description. Isn't that fun? Oh, sorry about the glare. I love the angle with his head, the head tilted over the wing. Gorgeous colors. I'm really excited to paint the colors. I cropped it. I don't know if you need to, here. I cropped it to my canvas size. Oh gosh, look at the glare, to 9 by 12. I set up a traceable in case some of you might like a traceable. It's on my website, annietroe.com. The traceable 7 by 9, but you can scale it up and it'll be really close to 9 by 12 or whatever size you want. I bet you this would fit a 5 by 7. You just crop it a little differently or maybe extend it a little bit. I can't do the math in my head right now if it works. I'm going to use the photo as a traceable because I like seeing more of the detail. So I printed it out on my computer. I need to tape it and put it together. As I mentioned, I have a 9-inch by 12-inch canvas. This one's from Michaels. I really like these. I like them because they're 1.5 inches thick, so you don't have to frame them. I mean, you don't have to frame the little ones too, but I think it looks kind of neat on the wall. And when I tighten the canvas up with water and a hair dryer, they don't bow. Sometimes the thinner framed canvases will warp and bow when you do that. I'll link how to tighten up a canvas in this video's description. I had some yellow oxide and white, so I just painted that on there. But I'm going to use primary colors because I bought a primary red when I was at Blick Art Materials. But then I was just looking, oh, sorry guys, I just dumped all my paints. I was looking at it. It says primary red, so I got all excited. And it's Blick brand, but it's 2 colors. It's PV19 and PR170. But I'm going to use it anyway. We'll see what we think. It looks like it has a little white in it compared to the quinacridone, but that number isn't white. I can't, here. Oh, I don't have white sitting here. I can't remember what number white is, but okay. I'm going to get the traceable on there, and we're going to have a great... Let's set the table. So first thing I want to talk about is I do not like the primary red. I think the other red in it, besides primary red, is a pyrrole color, because it's PR or something. That's not a bad orange, it's kind of an orangey red. I got a pretty good raw sienna color. I mean, that's okay. Really, it's okay. If you like it, that's totally cool. I'm just telling you guys, in any of my videos, it's just my opinions. I'm just not crazy about that orange. It's okay. Maybe because it just seems like it has a little white in it to me. I tend to like the cad yellow, medium hue, and quinacridone magenta because it's a more transparent orange. Oh, sorry. My chair and my shoulder is right next to my phone. And so I've got primary red from Blick Art Materials, primary yellow from Liquitex, the rest are Liquitex, Phthalo blue, titanium white, and Mars black. I mixed Phthalo blue and black for a blue black. And so the last bit I was doing, I took a little, oh, it's a number 1 round from Princeton. Oh, I thought it was a number 4 or 5. I think it's a number 1. I think in my last video I said the wrong number. And I'm putting in the little markings, and then I think I'll glaze over or put some white over so I don't lose the markings, but it also will calm them down. Or I could leave them just as strong, because in the reference photo, they are really strong. I'm just not sure which way I'm going to go with it yet. The background, this is a day or so later. This is 2 days later. Pretty sure I used this angle brush, but I just used it, and any brush will work. And I smeared color. So I get little wet on wet sections. So that's where I used the raw sienna. Where you see kind of the red, I just took a little bit of straight up primary red and mixed it into the wet paint. A lot of times I don't like my backgrounds. I'm thinking I might want it brighter because I really want this to be bright, but we'll see how the macaw turns out. And then I can always come back and even totally cover up the background if I don't like it. Or make it less swirly and soft. We'll just see. Okay, so I think that sets the table. I'll be back in a bit. I think it's been a bit since I popped in. I went back and looked at my video clips, but I couldn't find the last one that I spoke in, so I thought I better pop in. Primary yellow and phthalo blue. Am I doing phthalo blue or phthalo blue green shade? I think it's phthalo blue. Make really pretty greens, bright greens if you want them. What else? Maybe back up a bit. So I put some dark areas where there's going to be some shadows down here in this wing. I just played with a filbert brush. Oh, I think that's a 1/2 inch. Let's see, does it say? It says a number 12. Zoo, Z-H-U, Ting, T-I-N-G. Super cheap on Amazon. And I really like them because if you ruin them, they're just so darn cheap. And then I don't really ruin them. I take decent care of them. And just, mixed a yellow or almost like a cad yellow and an orange and just played with brushstroke direction. Not so much painting every feather, but the direction of the brushstroke really helps. Just like in here, even where you can see them more clearly. And then, why did I do the yellow first? Because it kind of looks like the green and the blue comes over the yellow. This wing comes over the yellow, and the other wing doesn't even show because I cropped it off. So when in doubt, I work back to front. So the yellow's in back of the other things. Really, I should have painted, I didn't know how to do this because it's much softer in the reference photo. I might change it. Here, I'm going to show you the reference photo. Or I just might leave it. It's not like it has to be exact. But see, these feathers are really soft and light right there. So right here, compared to what I did there, but I like it. It doesn't have to be exact. The beak's really fun. I wasn't going to put in some of the cracks or whatever those are, but I decided to put some of them in. I put a little color in the eye. The eye in the reference photo doesn't have any color. We'll do a little tour. I put the cardboard up because this 9x12 slips between, you can't see. It was slipping between the wooden slats on my easel. And then I realized I should move it over because I had this big prime sticker that was, you can see it. It was right next to the painting. I need to find a plain piece of cardboard rather than a box. Okay, so color in the eye. And I don't have every dark mark. And then I put them in, if you remember. And then I painted over quite a few of them so I could barely, they were much lighter. And then I came back and darkened some of them. I did glaze a little straight up phthalo blue right here just to add a little more color. This is kind of purpley. I think you can see it up close. I don't know if I'm going to make that stronger or not. And I used kind of a blue-gray. I really almost should just use white right here because those blue feathers are much brighter than I have painted there, but I can fix it. I paint smooth, like this all feels smooth. And then sometimes, not always, but if I want thick layers, that's the last thing I do is a thick layer of paint because it's much easier to correct over the smooth. Okay, we're doing a tour and I got off a little bit on a tangent. The tongue almost looks like there's two pieces to it, but I just left it like that in there. I didn't want to call too much attention to it. Oh, and I am painting on the side. So I can, yeah, got that in there. Keep in mind, that's why I like doing the tours and the up close, because the video smooths it out. I like that because it's a way for me when I look at my phone to see how the painting's going. It's a way for me to step back. So kind of oranges and browns for the shadows. And then it doesn't get darker down here in the reference photo, but since it's getting towards the bottom of the canvas, I just made it darker down there. I don't know how much detail I'm going to put in that wing. I don't know. I put quite a bit of detail here. I might put a decent amount. I think that gets us up to speed. I've been using that 1/2-inch filbert. Oh, occasionally I use my number 4 round from Princeton. And then sometimes if I need a really finer line and more control, I use this number 1 round from Princeton. Pretty palette. Okay, guys, I think that gets us up to speed. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, guys, let's chat. I like this a lot better. Oh, sorry. I haven't talked to anybody yet today. Been working a lot today in the studio, which is really fun. So things that I did. Let's start here. I put a little more blue, or no, I put some blue on the bottom beak just to give it a little more color. I think I talked about that I lightened this. Softened it, so I just lightened the value. I have messed with this green a couple times. Darker, lighter. The background was nice. If you like that, and it was more of a mid-value background, that was nice, but I didn't like it. I wanted the macaw to have more drama. So I darkened the beak right here. I actually darkened quite a bit of the beak. And I darkened the background. I just mixed up some purple and I mixed up some brown and I used just this, here it's wet, 1/2-inch filbert brush and some water and just scribbled over it with purples And then I also added some of the primary red to the purple just to shift it, warm it up a little bit. And then there's more purple down here and just scribbled over it. It's wet, it's thin. I like it because it makes this, the white, pop more, come forward more, makes this come forward more. Before that, I darkened this part of the wing. If I paint it with some water, it's gonna look darker for a minute. With some black, and then I also took some straight up phthalo blue, and I had painted in more feathers, and then I covered them up with phthalo blue, just glazed it over. And here's some purple. Just to talk a little bit less about the feathers. I could do that right here too. Put some orangey brown down here, just to darken this corner. I've talked before about how my corners, they're not like, this one's darker than this one, but it's darker than like the face, just to keep you in the painting more by having some darker corners. I think that's about it. Because yeah, I came in here and painted quite a few of these feathers, and then I painted them out, just glazed over them, darkened them. So I'm talking less about them, if that makes sense. Talking more about what's going on in the face area. And I like it darker, it's more dramatic. That's why I went darker with the background. I wanted it more dramatic. As I mentioned, the primary red works fine. If that's what you have in your studio and you like it, go for it. I wasn't as big a fan of it, but it worked quite well. I wasn't originally liking the orange, but I think it's actually fine. It just didn't behave the way I expected. So a lot of times artists will stick with a brand of color and certain colors because you know how they're going to behave. Doesn't make a color bad or wrong. It just means I'm not used to it. Yeah, because as I look at that orange, it's actually a pretty orange. Okay, let's do a tour. So yeah, I like that this is darker down here, especially here and here. The background. The feathers are a little bit. I just like it when the white or almost white pops more. Okay. Oh, I did scribble the another layer, darkening the background on the sides. The bottom, I carry the feathers over, but I really don't talk about them too much because if they frame it and you happen to get a glimpse of it, you don't really want it to have a bunch of detail anyway. Same on the side here. You can't really see it there. Okay. Oh, maybe I should see if I can get a screenshot. Oh boy. Everything's at an angle. I'm really doing maybe that's decent. It's also a little hard for me to see. I'm off to the right of my phone. I think it looks, when I look at the phone, it's a way for me to step back. I think that looks great. I added a shadow that I don't see here in this little yellow bit. Here, we'll do a tour. Let's start here. Yeah, I like that. I like that the whites, they're actually not white. The almost whites on the top of the head pop out more. I was going for more color and more drama, and I wasn't quite getting it. But I think the painting, if you liked it better when it was softer, I think that's just as good. Here. So I have the eye a little warmer than I do the face. I don't see that. Well, maybe you see it in the reference photo. You could. Another thing I could have done with a reference photo is put it in Photoshop and saturate the colors even more, or some other program. It doesn't have to be Photoshop. That might have helped me paint this a little juicier. Oh, I came back in and added more darks here. Yeah, I like that. I've asked this in the last video or two. Let me know if you like these up-close tours. I'm assuming they're helpful. I like that there's a little bit of a warm bullseye right there in the background. I think that's kind of fun. So there's the feathers up close. They're very simple. You could get more detailed. I've done that. That can be a lot of fun. But to me, the sorry guys, the values really do the work. And brushstroke direction helps. Say it's a feather. Okay, this one, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, has a traceable. It's on my website, annietroe.com. Let me know if you give this one a try. There's a bunch of ways you could paint this. You could paint, I used to do pet portraits with a palette knife. You could make it really, I don't know, even more geometric and shapy. Shapy? I don't think that's a word. But you can have more texture. Like I could come back and put a palette knife in even now. If I wanted more texture, more relief. Sometimes I'll come back, I didn't with this one, and make, put on thick paint so it has more texture. Oh, and I think I'm going to go back and have so when I photograph it, I don't know if I do a symbol on the front. I sign Annie Troe on the back, which isn't my legal name. But I'm probably gonna make that a little stronger with a little bit more contrast, just so it'll stay in the photograph when I photograph it. Okay guys, so fun to hang out with you. I'm a full-time artist. I couldn't do this without your support. I super appreciate it. Great big happy art hugs, and I hope to chat with you soon. Bye guys.